In the early 1950s, many young people envisioned a club for lesbians in the United States that would give them the opportunity to meet, socialize, and dance outside of the gay bars. The gay bars at this time were frequently raided by police, gawked at by tourists, and posed a great threat to anyone who attended. But many young lesbians dreamed of meeting each other, and they thought that starting meetings inside private homes would provide a level of privacy and freedom that other avenues simply did not provide. It is with this idea that Del Martin and Phyllis Lyon, along with 6 other lesbians, created the Daughters of Bilitis, one of the first lesbian organizations to be established. In the beginning, there were only 8 members, consisting of 4 couples, 4 blue-collar and 4 white-collar workers, 2 lesbian mothers, and 2 women of color. But soon the organization would grow into one of the largest organizations for queer women during its time. I'm Alexis Arrington, and welcome to episode 3 of Everyone's Gay, a look into queer history. The Daughters of Bilitis, or DOB, was established in 1955 by 8 members, including Del Martin and Phyllis Lyon, who would become well-known lesbian rights activists, and we'll definitely see them again in future episodes. DOB was founded during a time where there were few opportunities for lesbians to meet, as they were subject to discrimination and public hostility. The name itself, Daughters of Bilitis, came from a collection of love poems written by Pierre Louvre entitled The Songs of Bilitis. In the poems, Bilitis was a female character who was romantically associated with Sappho, the female Greek lyric poet, and they lived together on the Isle of Lesbos. It was presumed that lesbians would recognize the name, while anyone else would simply see it as a Greek poetry club. Plagued by people's fear of having their names on mailing or membership lists, DOB started a small organization that was constantly hampered in its outreach. They hosted parties and discussion groups in private homes, and in the early days were involved with a great deal of peer counseling in order to overcome the stigma placed on lesbians by society, as they were branded as illegal, mentally sick, and immoral. While the gay male organizations of the 50s and 60s, most notably the Mashing Society, focused their efforts on mostly criminal law and abuse from law enforcement, the DOB was more focused on civil and family issues. There were 4 goals of the DOB. First, education of the variant, to enable her to understand herself and make her adjustment to society. Second, education of the public, to break down concepts, taboos, and prejudices. Third, participation in research projects to further knowledge about the homosexual. And fourth, investigation of the penal code and promotion of changes through state legislatures. From the beginning, DOB was engaged in discussions and counseling groups in an attempt to combat the toxic mainstream opinions at the time. They held public, yet still safe, forums that allowed lesbians, along with gay and transgender men, to attend under pseudonyms. They brought in professional speakers to inform the attendees about their rights under the law and how to protect themselves if arrested. And they also brought in mental health professionals that promoted self-acceptance. The overall goal of these meetings was to inform the attendees that regardless of what society told them, they were normal and they were accepted. In 1956, only a year after its creation, the Daughters of Bilitis published the first issue of The Ladder, which was edited by Lyon under the pen name Anne Ferguson, and featured essays and editorials, ensuring readers that they were not alone. It educated women about legal issues, featured short stories, and also featured essays on famous women, lesbians, and bisexuals. The Ladder was published monthly from 1956 to 1970, and once every other month in 1971 and 1972. So a quick little side note. At my permanent school, I actually have 4 of the magazines published hanging on the wall. Sadly, I'm back home due to quarantine, but maybe in the future episode, I would love to read something from one of those. And when that happens, I'll make sure to link it to this video. Alright, back to the history. The second issue of The Ladder focused on ensuring the few readers that their names were safe. The editorial article cited and discussed the 1953 Supreme Court decision of U.S. versus Rumley that upheld the right of a publisher to refuse to reveal the names of those who purchased the magazine, under the freedom of speech clause of the First Amendment. This was crucial because homosexuals at this time were considered illegal and could lose their jobs, homes, and families because of their sexuality. And therefore, for people to subscribe to the latter, it was crucial that their names remain unknown. Although it was plagued by tensions reflecting the difficult political climate of the time, DOB is credited with numerous social and political achievements. Socially, the DOB facilitated one of the first opportunities for lesbians to meet and share their everyday struggles. They hosted national conferences, the first held in San Francisco in 1960. Their conferences proved to be excellent vehicles for publicity focused on lesbians. Politically, the Daughters of Bilitis began the long quest to achieve visibility and acceptance for lesbians, ensuring a place for lesbian rights on the civil rights agenda. One of the ways they did this was attempting to disprove the belief that homosexuality was a mental illness. In 1968, Florence Conrad, the research director for DOB, decided it was time to find if there had been any changes in attitudes with healthcare professionals. With the help of Dr. Joel Fort, the director of the Center for Special Problems in the San Francisco's Public Health Department, a questionnaire was developed and sent out to a random sample of 153 Bay Area mental health professionals. Of those who were surveyed, almost 2/3 said homosexuality should not be categorized as an illness. And of those, 97% said they would not try to change a homosexual patient into a heterosexual, but would pursue other goals, including self-acceptance, self-assertiveness, and improved interpersonal relationships. The survey also found a number of surprising statistics that prove opinions in the mental health arena had changed. While the DOB met a controversial ending as members began pulling the organizations in different directions and dozens of other lesbian and feminist organizations were created, the impact of the DOB is felt throughout queer history. It is best described by historian Martin Meeker, who said, "The DOB succeeded in linking hundreds of lesbians across the country with one another and gathering them into a distinctly modern communication network that was mediated through print and consequently imagination, rather than sight, sound, smell, and touch." The Daughters of Bilitis created a community that helped young lesbian women and bisexual women accept themselves in a society that criminalized their very existence. It was the dream of many lesbians to create a place to be themselves and feel safe, and DOB did that. Even if it was just reading the ladder in the comfort of their own home, it showed the young queer women that they were not alone. There are many ways that you can learn more about the Daughters of Bilitis, along with Del Martin and Phyllis Lyon. One way is to listen to the podcast Making Gay History, where Eric Marcus interviews Martin and Lyon about Daughters of Bilitis in Season 3, Episode 7. You can also watch the film No Secret Anymore, which focuses on the public work of Martin and Lyon and the DOB, while also taking a look into the two's relationship. It is available on Amazon Video, along with other streaming services. Lastly, I recommend reading The Ladder itself. It is a fantastic magazine and is available in many of the queer archival sites. The University of California, Berkeley has a scanned copy of the 1965 issue in their digital library, and I have copy and pasted the link in the description below. Thank you for watching this week's episode of Everyone's Gay, a look into queer history. I hope you enjoyed learning about the work of the Daughters of Bilitis. In the next episode, we are going to shift focus a little bit from the homophile movement and into a look at some international queer history, so stay tuned. I'm Alexis Arrington, and this has been episode 3 of Everyone's Gay, a look into queer history. We'll see you next time. If you like what you saw, make sure to hit that like button below and subscribe. Still not sure? Well, here's a cute puppy.